Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for having chosen the really interesting session. Okay, as Nadia has said, this is a research conducted with people from different universities, and we are conducting this research about Plan S and open science. Have you ever felt this way? The pressure for publishing, the pressure even for publishing in first and second quartile. Sometimes you don't know where to publish. Sometimes you don't know if this journal is better than the other one, which one is available, which one is in open access. There are problems with peer review, we all know. There are problems with the delay in the publication of papers. So it seems that sometimes we are still in the same model that was more or less invented 350 years before. We can say that the scholarly publishing ecosystem is not in the internet age. And this is what it is our area of study. I think that we all have more or less the same diagnosis of the things that are not working. The problem sometimes is that the solutions are not the same for everybody. We hope that the paradigm of open science, that I will speak later, could be the solution. But what we have seen is that there is a lot of different solutions and answers that sometimes institutions want to develop. So this is the meaning of this running everybody in different directions. So there is sometimes a lack of consensus of the roadmap to get the open access paradigm on the open science. So what we wanted to know is there are a lot of people thinking that there are problems, that they want to solve them, then there is a common diagnosis how every different institution and policies are coping with this problem. Well, in September 2018, there was promoted and presented the Plan S. Plan S, it's supported by Coalition S. Coalition S is an organization having different funding research agencies, mainly public from Europe, but there are also private agencies, funding agencies supporting them. What the Plan S, its main principle is that from 2021, all the research that is done thanks to the funding of these agencies have to be published and delivered immediately to the society. So without embargoes, without any of the paywalls that sometimes we find in the publishing ecosystem. Plan S has two versions. The first one was really strong, but then they say that it was from 2021. So it is a big step to open science, but as we will see, it's something that maybe journals and maybe publishers are not ready to get. When Plan S were presented, there were two conflicting views. From one hand, we find the movement of open access, the activism of open access that thought that this could be an important step. We know that there is more or less 3% of the scientific production which is inside the research produced by the Coalition S agency, so it's just 3%, but we think that it's a step that could get that more other agencies and countries goes to the full open access. So it was a good point of view. But on the other hand, and we have to assume that there was also the meaning that it was something else that could be bad for the view of different researchers. As we saw, there were more than 1,000 scientists that signed an open letter saying that Plan S was a really big step for them, and they say even that they would have problems to choose the right journals for publishing. We have to say that in some disciplines, there is a lot of hybrid models journals that don't comply with Plan S. And they were afraid that they could be not possible to publish. I have to say that I understand this view, of course, but I also have to say that nowadays we are choosing the journal mainly for the impact factor and not because I like the speediness or other things about the journal or the format of the PDF or the XML. We are choosing sometimes, usually mainly because of the impact factor. So we are not really free to choose the journal where do we want to share our results. And again, as I said, there is not a single solution. Do you remember this is the risk map? And we have been seeing that, for instance, South America and the Global South has its own solution called America. United States clearly supports their own policies with usually 1 year of embargo. Recently, India says that that it understands Plan S, but they are not going to go so fast. And China, for instance, have said that they understand the objectives of Plan S, but at the same time they are going to take their own way. So I think that we have to understand that if there is not a global solution, it could be more difficult to get the results what we want. What we expected, we wanted, speaking about social transformation, we want that the Spanish government, who has not signed Plan S, moves to this direction. So we started thinking that we had to understand and learn how the Spanish journals ecosystems, if they will comply with the Plan S principles. It says that you can publish immediately in a journal that comply the requirements of Plan S, which are very strict in terms of techniques, of legal aspects, of reuse, of data sharing policies, and transparency, and so on. Or the other thing that the authors can do is share the paper immediately in the institutional repository, the green via. But this is difficult if the journals don't allow to do that. So it's not just putting the paper in ResearchGate, so it has to do something that the policy allows. So we wanted to study the 214 journals indexed inside our journal rank to see if the requirements regarding business model, legal aspects, interoperability, and metadata, if the journals could comply with all these requirements. 12 of them are compulsory from Plan S, and 6 of them are optionals. What we have done after this analysis is put the data set available in Figshare, and what the result that we have seen is that there are dissimilar compliance of journals in every one of the requirements. 19% belongs to transparency, but just 16% of journals complying with the data sharing policies. So it means that there is a lot of way to do in different requirements. There is a big disparity in the results from the whole set of journals that we have studied. We have also seen that just one, the Comunicar journal, complies every one of the requirements, and there is the main part of journals just complies half or approximately half of the requirements that Plan S asks for journals. So there is a lot of way to do. The results we have seen that the higher quartile, the most correlation and compliance with the requirements. It means sometimes it's more related with the human resources that every journal can afford to do all the technical requirements. So, and there is no significant differences between all the disciplines that we have studied. There is a long way in all the journals and all the disciplines in order to comply with Plan S. Just let me 2 minutes to speak about the stakeholders. Of course, these results are significant, and we have shared with publishers, with researchers, with libraries, in order to know how the Spanish ecosystem of journals could move to comply with Plan S. which is our aim. We are looking for the social transformation. We want that all journals take this advantage of having all the requirements that they don't accomplish in order to get the digital transformation that they are still needed in the scholarly publishing system. And we hope, this is our hope, is that the Spanish government understands the importance of open science, of open access, of getting closer in the transformative agreements next to Plan S, next to Coalition S. So we also want to have a part of lobbyism or activism to get the Spanish government to talk about open science. But have you ever felt this way? Thank you very much.